Malik had always known that talent alone was never enough. Growing up in a bustling city in the United States, he had learned early that the world often measured people by the color of their skin rather than the strength of their dreams. His hands, capable of coaxing melodies from a worn guitar that had been his companion since childhood, often trembled not from nerves, but from the anticipation of facing judgment before the first note even sounded. At 16, Malik received news that felt almost unreal. A scholarship to one of the city's most prestigious music academies. The letter was embossed, official, and yet he could not shake off the nagging thought that he would have to prove himself 100 times more than anyone else. On his first day, the academy loomed like a marble fortress. Its high-glass windows reflected a world that seemed both bright and distant. Students in pristine uniforms walked past him with quiet confidence, carrying violins, cellos, and sleek music sheets. Malik clutched his guitar case like a shield, his backpack slung awkwardly over one shoulder. "Hey, new guy," called out a boy with neatly combed hair. "You lost or something?" Malik gave a small, polite smile but did not answer. The boy snickered and walked away, leaving Malik feeling conspicuously out of place. Malik's first class was Music Theory 101 with Mr. Thompson. Vey, an older man with a kind face lined with years of experience. "Welcome," he said. Talent is important, yes, but what matters more is discipline, creativity, and the courage to take risks. Malik nodded, feeling a glimmer of hope. Perhaps here, he could be judged by his abilities, not by his skin. But reality had other plans. It started subtly. During group assignments, Malik noticed whispers when he walked in. Certain students, all from wealthy backgrounds, seemed hesitant to partner with him. One girl, Emma, finally spoke up. "Hey, I'll work with you," she said. Malik blinked. Her tone wasn't patronizing, it was genuine. That small gesture became his anchor. Emma had grown up in privilege, unaware of the barriers others faced daily. Through Malik, she began to see the cracks in the polished world she had always known. Their first assignment was a duet performance. Malik's fingers moved over the strings with precision, each chord resonating like a heartbeat. Emma on the piano matched him note for note. The music became a conversation, a bridge between two worlds. When they finished, Mr. Thompson's eyes glimmered with approval. "Excellent work," he said. Truly. But outside the classroom, Malik felt the sting of bias. In the cafeteria, he overheard classmates mocking his accent, his choice of music, even the way he dressed, too. He tried to ignore it, focusing on his practice, but the isolation gnawed at him. One afternoon, Malik discovered a flyer for the Academy's annual showcaser, chance for students to perform before a panel of elite judges and possibly earn recognition beyond the school. Malik's heart soared. This could be his moment. But when he mentioned it to a fellow student, the response was discouraging. "You know how it is, right? They usually pick people like us," the student said, gesturing vaguely at Malik. Emma refused to accept that. "You have to enter," she said firmly. "Your music is stronger than anything else here." Malik hesitated, doubt pressing down like a heavy fog. He had faced prejudice all his life, but this was different. This stage was the pinnacle, and the audience was composed of people who might never truly see him for who he was. The weeks leading up to the showcase were grueling. Malik practiced for hours, sometimes late into the night. His fingers bled from relentless strumming, and his voice grew raw from repetition. Emma stayed by his side, offering encouragement, practicing harmonies, and reminding him that his talent mattered, even if the world tried to deny it. Then came the day of the showcase. The auditorium was filled with families, teachers, and judges. Malik felt the familiar anxiety clawing at his chest. He glanced at Emma, who gave him a reassuring nod. When it was his turn, Malik walked onto the stage. The spotlight was blinding, but he focused on the guitar in his hands. He began to play a haunting melody that spoke of struggle, hope, and resilience. Each note carried the weight of his experiences, each chord a testament to his perseverance. At first, the audience was silent, unsure what to make of his unconventional style. But slowly, the room began to respond. Heads nodded, feet tapped, and eyes glistened. By the end of his performance, the auditorium erupted in applause. Malik felt tears sting his eyes. For the first time, he was seen. Not as a black kid from a rough neighborhood, not as an outsider, but as an artist. Despite his success, the road ahead was still fraught with challenges. Some judges had reservations, hinting that his style was too raw or unpolished compared to classical standards. But Mr. Thompson, with a proud smile, spoke up. Talent does not always follow the rules. Remember that. Malik's victory was not just personal. It resonated through the academy. Slowly, the culture began to shift. Students who had ignored or dismissed him started seeking his advice. Teachers became more attentive to diversity and inclusion in their classrooms. Ma continued to be his ally, advocating for fair opportunities and challenging biases wherever she saw them. Outside the academy, Malik's community cheered his success. His younger cousin Jamel looked up at him with wide eyes. "I want to be like you," he said. Malik smiled, realizing that the impact of his journey extended far beyond music. It was about representation, courage, and breaking barriers. Years later, Malik stood at the same auditorium, but this time as a mentor. New students walked in with uncertainty and fear, faces that reminded him of his younger self. He welcomed them warmly. "Talent is important." "Yes," he said, echoing Mr. Thompson's words. "But what matters more is resilience, courage, and the willingness to change the world. Not just for yourself, but for everyone who comes after you." Among the students was a young girl, her hands trembling around a violin case. Malik noticed the same fear and doubt he had once felt. He walked over and smiled. "You're going to be amazing," he said. And for the first time, she believed it. The world was far from perfect. Racism, bias, and inequality were still present, lurking in corners and whispers. But Malik had learned that one person's courage could create ripples. One voice, one song, one stand could challenge centuries of prejudice. And together, people like him, like Emma, like all those who refused to stay silent, could make change inevitable. Malik's journey was not just about music. It was about dignity, representation, and hope. Every chord he played, every note he sang, carried the message that talent and humanity were not determined by skin color. They were universal, and they belonged to everyone brave enough to claim them. In the end, Malik Chet understood something profound. The colors between us, the differences that society so often used to divide, could also be the very threads that, when woven together, created the most beautiful harmony. And as the music echoed through the auditorium, Malik knew that the melody would carry on long after he left the stage.